Hey there, it's Sara, and I'm coming at you with a shorty episode. And today I'm going to be talking to you all about self-care, even when you feel too busy. But before we dive into the episode, I want to invite you to join the waitlist for the Refresh and Reboot Dry July experience. If you've been thinking about taking a break from alcohol, but you're not sure where to start, or you just want support, structure, and momentum, this is for you. You'll get early access, discounted pricing, and all the juicy details before anyone else. Just check the link in the show notes or head to nomorewasteddays.co/waiting list and get your name on the list today. We're going to make this July one to remember. Now, like I said, we're going to be talking about self-care for my busy people, which is all of us really, right? So today's shorty episode is for people who identify themselves as busy, the moms, the overthinkers, the do-it-all women who know self-care is important, but honestly don't know when to do it. I know I fall into a lot of those categories, and I often think, when am I supposed to take care of myself? I've actually fit mine into a morning routine where I do wake up earlier than the rest of my family, so this is a perfect way to do it if you happen to be a morning person. But don't worry, even if you're not a morning person, I will still be talking to you today. Maybe your calendar is packed, your brain is full, and you're just trying to get through the day without losing it. I see you. So let's talk about what self-care really looks like when you're in a busy season and why it's not complicated or too time-consuming as we've been led to believe. So first, I want to flip the script on what we think self-care is, because listen, self-care isn't just spa days, yoga retreats, or 2-hour blocks of silence. Although that all sounds lovely, I know that is not actually doable for most of us. It's actually about tending to your energy, your emotional, mental, and physical well-being in small and consistent ways. Sometimes self-care is setting a boundary, and sometimes it's saying no to a group chat. It's just all about protecting your energy so it's working in the most positive way for you. It can also be as simple as drinking a glass of water or sitting in silence for just 3 minutes, or reminding yourself that you don't need to earn rest, which I know has been a big theme in our podcast lately. And I know it's been helping me so much to remember that rest is not a reward, it's a right. And we all have the right to rest, and we don't have to feel like we need to earn it. So now that we've flipped the script on what self-care really is, let's talk about the power of micro moments. I want you to know that micro moments count. A deep breath at a red light, taking that pause in that moment, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb while you cook or maybe during your morning routine, or doing something like choosing a playlist that lifts your mood instead of drains it. You do not need a whole afternoon. You just need a shift in intention. And I want you to really lean into this. What I want you to do is I want you to go through your day mentally in your mind and think, where can I create micro moments? Believe it or not, you could actually start practicing affirmations within your head as you're brushing your teeth. So another way to create those micro moments is to do some habit stacking. This is where you stack on top of something that you already perform. So you already brush your teeth every day, right? So why not, while you're brushing your teeth, go through some gratitudes in your brain or do some affirmations? This is a perfect way to habit stack and to create those micro moments. If you're having a hard time coming up with what you should do during these micro moments, try asking yourself, what would feel supportive right now? Or even ask yourself, if I could ask anyone to help me in any way, what would I have them do? And then think to yourself, how can I do that for myself in a micro moment? You'll be surprised at how creative you can get in this area when you start looking at it this way. And your nervous system is going to thank you, and it only takes a minute. Now, moving on beyond micro moments, I want you to think of where you can set up routines in place that have built-in self-care. Like I said at the top of the episode, I have a morning routine that is my built-in self-care. Every single day, I wake up before my family, or at least before my kids, and I do a guided meditation, and then I do a 30-minute workout. Those are 2 ways that I can take care of myself. They don't actually take a long time because the meditation is only 10 minutes and the workout is 30 minutes. Now, I will will say that sometimes I dawdle or dilly-dally in my morning routine, and it does take me longer. But I know that even in the busy moments, I can create 40 minutes for myself in my morning where I wake up just a little bit earlier. Now, if this isn't doable for you, I want you to think about where you could create other routines. Is there something you can do in your car before you head out from work? Maybe you're in the parking lot and you can take a moment to go through some breathing exercises or even do a 5-minute guided meditation. Most meditation apps have 5-minute or less guided meditations, so check those out and use them to your advantage. And then while you're driving home, you can build into your routine that you're listening to a book that really fills you up or a playlist that you love. And then when you get home, you can sit in the driveway and very quickly go through 3 gratitudes in your mind. I just created a quick and simple routine for you that you can do even when you're super busy because it's just going right along with what you already do. You drive home from work. Now, if you don't leave the house to go to work each day like me, you work from home, then you can still create moments like this in your day. I think to myself, okay, I eat lunch every single day. After I get done eating lunch, I'm going to do a quick walk down to the end of my driveway and back. It's not very far. It gets the dog out for a moment. It flips my mindset and puts me into a new space so I'm ready for the afternoon. And you can also look at your evening routines and start figuring out ways you can create an evening routine that doesn't take up any more time, but gives you some self-care. One thing I do each night is I read a book that's for pure enjoyment, either fiction or you guys have heard that I just love to read books about people doing through hikes of the various big trails in the United States. So I love reading those kind of books and it brings me joy. It fills me up. I look forward to going to bed because I know I get a few minutes of reading, and it's not even really a lot, but it's a little bit of self-care. So just remember that those micro moments count. Think about the way you can add them into your daily routines and stick to it. If this is hitting home and you're craving a reset, not just with self-care, but with your relationship to alcohol, the Refresh and Reboot Dry July experience is exactly what you need. Remember, you can hop on the waiting list today by heading to the link in the show notes or going to nomorewasteddays.co/waiting list. And you can get on that waiting list so you'll be notified when early enrollment happens on June 19th. This is a full body, whole life reset designed to help you ditch alcohol, feel like yourself again, and build momentum heading into the second half of the year. Join the waitlist to get early access and special pricing. The link is right in the show notes, and you can get yourself added to that waiting list as you're listening to the podcast. Now let's talk about why self-care is actually easier when you're alcohol-free. This may feel backwards for some of us that are early on our alcohol-free journey because for a lot of us, drinking was our self-care. Now, it didn't actually take care of us, right? But it allows you to numb out. It allows you to find that quick fix when you're feeling stress. But here's the truth. Alcohol makes self-care harder. When you're tired, foggy, anxious, or dragging the weight of regret into every morning, it's way harder to show up for yourself. When I removed alcohol, I finally had the energy and clarity to figure out what actually made me feel good. It's actually when I was finally able to stick to a morning routine. Now, I've gone through all different morning routines where the focus is self-care. Some have been really long, some have been shorter. I make them fit into my life. But I was never able to be consistent with them until I quit drinking because I no longer had a hangover in the morning. Actually get myself out of bed a little bit earlier. It's the same thing I hear from people who have an evening routine and they've quit drinking. I talk to so many people who say, I finally wash my face now at night, or I finally brush my teeth now at night. Both of those things are self-care. And when you're drinking, you don't have the energy to do those things a lot of times. For me, I never read before bed when I was a drinker. That was way too hard. I just scrolled my phone until I'd kind of pass out. So that wasn't self-care, right? That was mindless scrolling. Now I get to read and give myself some intentional time where I'm doing something that I really enjoy. Alcohol-free living gave me the headspace to make all of this happen. So now you've listened to this episode and you have a lot of reasons why self-care is important and how you can fit it into your day, but how can you actually have some quick wins today? Here are a few tiny but mighty self-care wins you can sneak into even the busiest day. I want you to pick at least one of these that you can do today. If it's late in the evening while you're listening, then do it tomorrow. So first, you could Prep something nourishing for tomorrow. Do a little meal prep. Think ahead to the next day. Your future self is going to thank you. I love it when I have like pineapple and I've actually cut it into bite-sized pieces so it's ready to eat instead of the pineapple sitting on the counter rotting away. Another idea is to say no to something optional and just notice the relief. You can also take a walk without your phone. This is something that I've really been trying to start doing. I feel like I am always connected to my phone, and I'm starting to challenge myself to be like, do you really need your phone as you go do this thing? It's such a simple thing, but it really is making a huge change in my mindset. I've seen some people set a wind down alarm on their phone to remind you to start your bedtime ritual. I know for us busybodies that just want the night to keep going, it's hard to actually wind down. So having that little wind down alarm is a great reminder. And another way you can do some self-care in a quick way is you can unfollow someone who drains your energy. I'm sure we all have that person we follow on social media that just gives us the ick, right? That just makes us feel ugh or makes us feel bad about ourselves. I give you permission to go hit the unfollow button. Or if you don't feel like unfollowing because sometimes this person is inspiring to you, then just mute that person for a little while. All of these ideas that I just gave you do not take hours. They actually take minutes, but they do take intention. And the more you practice, the more natural it will become. So if you've been waiting for life to slow down before you start taking care of yourself, I hate to break it to you, but it probably won't. Self-care isn't about time, it's about choice. And you get to choose one small way to support yourself today. You're allowed to rest, you're allowed to feel good, and you're allowed to start exactly where you are. Just know that I am cheering you on, and if you're looking for a special way to help you get back to yourself this summer, be sure to check out the waitlist for the Refresh and Reboot Dry July experience. Let's make this summer one where you choose you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Be sure to rate, review, and even share with a friend that you know may need these tips. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I'll be in your ear in the next episode.